Be brave. Take risks. Nothing can substitute experience. Everything that happens once can never happen again, but everything that happens twice will surely happen a third time. Culture makes people understand each other better, and if they understand each other better in their soul, it is easier to overcome the economic and political barriers. But first they have to understand that their neighbor is in the end just like them, with the same problems, the same questions. When a person really desires something, all the universe conspires to help that person to realize his dream. The more violent the storm, the quicker it passes. You should treat a muse like a fairy. You have to take risks. We will only understand the miracle of life fully when we allow the unexpected to happen. You're always learning. The problem is, sometimes you stop and think you understand the world. This is not correct. The world is always moving. You never reach the point you can stop making an effort. I have seen many storms in my life. Most storms have caught me by surprise, so I had to learn very quickly to look further and understand I am not capable of controlling the weather, to exercise the art of patience, and to respect the fury of nature. Love can consign us to hell or to paradise, but it always takes us somewhere. Of course, to have money is just great because you can do what you think is important to you. I always was a rich person because money's not related to happiness. I'm not saying that love always takes you to heaven. Your life can become a nightmare. But that said, it is worth taking the risk. Everything is possible, from angels to demons to economists and politicians. Life was always a matter of waiting for the right moment to act. You drown not by falling into a river, but by staying submerged in it. One is loved because one is loved. No reason is needed for loving. All women have a perception much more developed than men. So all women somehow, being repressed for so many millennia, they ended up by developing this sixth sense and contemplation in love. And this is something that we have a hard time to accept as part of our society. Everybody is a political person, whether you say something or you are silent. A political attitude is not whether you go to parliament, it's how you deal with your life, with your surroundings. Every blessing ignored becomes a curse. Elegance is usually confused with superficiality, fashion, lack of depth. This is a serious mistake. Human beings need to have elegance in their actions and in their posture because this word is synonymous with good taste, amiability, equilibrium, and harmony. We have lost contact with reality, the simplicity of life. I am 100% Virgo, stubborn, over-organized, slightly abstracted from the rest of the world. We have to stop and be humble enough to understand that there is something called mystery. The two worst strategic mistakes to make are acting prematurely and letting an opportunity slip. To avoid this, the warrior treats each situation as if it were unique and never resorts to formulae, recipes, or other people's opinions. It's not difficult for me to put my feelings into written form. I try to be concise and to go direct to the subject. This is what people like about my work, and what the critics hate. Music for me demands full concentration. If you start by promising what you don't even have yet, you'll lose your desire to work towards getting it. When you want something, all the universe conspires in helping you to achieve it. When you are enthusiastic about what you do, you feel this positive energy. It's very simple. Waiting is painful. Forgetting is painful. But not knowing which to do is the worst kind of suffering. The more in harmony with yourself you are, the more joyful you are and the more faithful you are. Faith is not to disconnect you from reality, it connects you to reality. The good old days, when each idea had an owner, are gone forever. Love is a trap. When it appears, we see only its light, not its shadows. I cry very easily. It can be a movie, a phone conversation, a sunset. Tears are words waiting to be written. The wise are wise only because they love. The fool are fools only because they think they can understand love. People are very reluctant to talk about their private lives, but then you go to the internet and they're much more open. I write from my soul. This is the reason that critics don't hurt me, because it is me. If it was not me, if I was pretending to be someone else, then this could unbalance my world, but I know who I am. No one can lie, no one can hide anything when he looks directly into someone's eyes. Things do not always happen the way I would like them to happen, and I had better get used to that. I think you can have 10,000 explanations for failure, but no good explanation for success. I don't try to control my days. When a woman has not had sex for a long time, she turns into an old woman. However happy people say they are, nobody is satisfied. We always have to be with the prettiest woman, buy a bigger house, change cars, desire what we do not have. I can control my destiny, but not my fate. Destiny means there are opportunities to turn right or left, but fate is a one-way street. I believe we all have the choice as to whether we fulfill our destiny, but our fate is sealed. Remember your dreams and fight for them. You must know what you want from life. There is just one thing that makes your dream become impossible: the fear of failure. Beauty is the greatest seducer of man. Tell your heart that the fear of suffering is worse than the suffering itself, and no heart has ever suffered when it goes in search of its dream. You can become blind by seeing each day as a similar one. Each day is a different one. Each day brings a miracle of its own. It's just a matter of paying attention to this miracle. No, I never saw an angel, but it is irrelevant whether I saw one or not. I feel their presence around me. Writing means sharing. It's part of the human condition to want to share things, thoughts, ideas, opinions. Everybody has a creative potential, and from the moment you can express this creative potential, you can start changing the world. In writing, I apply my feminine side and respect the mystery involved in creation. When I'm dancing, I'm not thinking about anything. I am here. I am totally there. You know? And the feeling is a sensation of being away from myself. My soul dances with the angels, and my body dances with my wife. Let's be absolutely clear about one thing. We must not confuse humility with false modesty or servility. I am a Catholic, not so committed to the Church, but to the idea of the Virgin, the female face of God. I have spent every New Year's Eve since 1992 in Lourdes. I spend the hour of my birth every year in the grotto. It's a place with meaning for me. What interests me in life is curiosity, challenges, the good fight with its victories and defeats. With all due respect, the Mona Lisa is overrated. I'm not a person that socializes very well. Every day I try to be in communication with the universe in an unconscious way. A fool is known by his speech, and a wise man by silence. A thought is an idea in transit. Above all things, respect yourself. Allow not sleep to close your eyes before 3 times reflecting on your actions of the day. What deeds done well, what not, what left undone? As long as man continues to be the ruthless destroyer of lower living beings, he will never know health or peace. Astonishing. Everything is intelligent. Be silent, or let thy words be worth more than silence. Choices are the hinges of destiny. Choose always the way that seems the best, however rough it may be. Customer will soon render it easy and agreeable. Choose rather to be strong of soul than strong of body. Concern should drive us into action and not into depression. Do not say a little in many words, but a great deal in a few. Educate the children, and it won't be necessary to punish the men. Friends are as companions on a journey, who ought to aid each other to persevere on the road to a happier life. God built the universe on numbers. If you have a wounded heart, touch it as little as you would an injured eye. There are only two remedies for the suffering of the soul: hope and patience. Learn silence with the quiet serenity of a meditative mind. Listen, absorb, transcribe, and transform. Love that shines from within cannot be darkened by obstacles of the world of consequences. Man, know thyself, then thou shalt know universe and God. No man is free who cannot control himself. Numbers are the highest degree of knowledge. It is knowledge itself. Numbers rule the universe. Rest satisfied with doing well, and leave others to talk of you as they please. Strength of mind rests in sobriety, for this keeps your reason unclouded by passion. The art of living happily is to live in the present. The experience of life in a finite, limited body is specifically for the purpose of discovering and manifesting supernatural existence. The most momentous thing in human life is the art of winning the soul to good. The oldest, shortest words, yes and no, are those which require the most thought. There is geometry in the humming of the strings. There is music in the spacing of the spheres. There is no word or action but has its echo in eternity. There is nothing so easy but that it becomes difficult when you do it reluctantly. True and perfect friendship is to make one heart and mind of many hearts and bodies. Virtue is harmony. Wisdom thoroughly learned will never be forgotten. Know thyself, know thy enemy. 1,000 battles, 1,000 victories. Victorious warriors win first and then go to war, while defeated warriors go to war first and then seek to win. He will win who knows when to fight and when not to fight. To fight and conquer in all our battles is not supreme excellence. Supreme excellence consists in breaking the enemy's resistance without fighting. The art of war is of vital importance to the state. It is a matter of life and death, a road either to safety or to ruin. Hence it is a subject of inquiry which can on no account be neglected. The general who wins the battle makes many calculations in his temple before the battle is fought. The general who loses makes but few calculations beforehand. There has never been a protracted war from which a country has benefited. If you are far from the enemy, make him believe you are near. Quickness is the essence of the war. Hence the saying, if you know the enemy and you know yourself, your victory will not stand in doubt. If you know heaven and you know earth, you may make your victory complete. He will win who knows how to handle both superior and inferior forces. To see victory only when it is within the ken of the common herd is not the acme of excellence. The good fighters of old first put themselves beyond the possibility of defeat, and then waited for an opportunity of defeating the enemy. Invincibility lies in the defense, the possibility of victory in the attack. There is no instance of a nation benefiting from prolonged warfare. Pretend inferiority and encourage his arrogance. If fighting is sure to result in victory, then you must fight, even though the ruler forbid it. If fighting will not result in victory, then you must not fight even at the ruler's bidding. He who is prudent and lies in wait for an enemy who is not, will be victorious. A good commander is benevolent and unconcerned with fame. He will win whose army is animated by the same spirit throughout all its ranks. If ignorant both of your enemy and yourself, you are certain to be in peril. Quality of decision is like the well-timed swoop of a falcon, which enables it to strike and destroy its victim. Secret operations are essential in war. Upon them the army relies to make its every move. Victory usually goes to the army who has better trained officers and men. When envoys are sent with compliments in their mouths, it is a sign that the enemy wishes for a truce. For them to perceive the advantage of defeating the enemy, they must also have their rewards. It is essential to seek out enemy agents who have come to conduct espionage against you and to bribe them to serve you. Give them instructions and care for them. Thus doubled agents are recruited and used. If our soldiers are not overburdened with money, it is not because they have a distaste for riches. If their lives are not unduly long, it is not because they are disinclined to longevity. The supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting. Be extremely subtle, even to the point of formlessness. Be extremely mysterious, even to the point of soundlessness. Thereby you can be the director of the opponent's fate. Know your enemy and know yourself, and you can fight 100 battles without disaster. The art of war teaches us to rely not on the likelihood of the enemy's not coming, but on our own readiness to receive him, not on the chance of his not attacking, but rather on the fact that we have made our position unassailable. He who knows when he can fight and when he cannot, will be victorious. Supreme excellence consists in breaking the enemy's resistance without fighting. The general who advances without coveting fame and retreats without fearing disgrace, whose only thought is to protect his country and do good service for his sovereign, is the jewel of the kingdom. In the practical art of war, the best thing of all is to take the enemy's country whole and intact. To shatter and destroy it is not so good. Block the enemy's power, force him to reveal himself. Prohibit the taking of omens, and do away with superstitious doubts. Then, until death itself comes, no calamity need be feared. Hence that general is skillful in attack whose opponent does not know what to defend, and he is skillful in defense whose opponent does not know what to attack. Now the reason the enlightened prince and the wise general conquer the enemy whenever they move and their achievements surpass those of ordinary men is foreknowledge. Of all those in the army close to the commander, none is more intimate than the secret agent. Of all rewards, none more liberal than those given to secret agents. Of all matters, none is more confidential than those relating to secret operations. If you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not fear the results of 100 battles. All men can see these tactics whereby I conquer, but what none can see is the strategy out of which victory is evolved. Regard your soldiers as your children, and they will follow you into the deepest valleys. Look on them as your own beloved sons, and they will stand by you even unto death. If your opponent is of choleric temper, irritate him. The opportunity to secure ourselves against defeat lies in our own hands, but the opportunity of defeating the enemy is provided by the enemy himself. Confront them with annihilation, and they will then survive. Plunge them into a deadly situation, and they will then live. When people fall into danger, they are then able to strive for victory. For to win 100 victories in 100 battles is not the acme of skill. To subdue the enemy without fighting is the acme of skill. Thus it is that in war the victorious strategist only seeks battle after the victory has been won, whereas he who is destined to defeat first fights and afterwards looks for victory. Thus, what is of supreme importance in war is to attack the enemy's strategy. The enlightened ruler is heedful, and the good general full of caution. It is only the enlightened ruler and the wise general who will use the highest intelligence of the army for the purposes of spying, and thereby they achieve great results. If we know that our own men are in a condition to attack, but are unaware that the enemy is not open to attack, we have gone only halfway towards victory. One, every victorious warrior draws his strength from the highest source, his love. 2. Warriors want a worthy opponent. There is no redress in fighting the pathetic. 3. Victorious warriors win first and then go to war, while defeated warriors go to war first and then seek to win. 4. I know what I'm capable of. I am a soldier now, a warrior. I am someone to fear, not hunt. 5. A warrior never worries about his fear. 6. I'm a warrior for the middle class. 7. The true soldier fights not because he hates what is in front of him, but because he loves what is behind him. 8. The warrior stands, ready to defend, ready to fight for those he serves. He is a warrior of virtue, a knight of conscience. He is who we all wish to be. 9. There is no greater warrior than a mother protecting her child. 10. Victory is reserved for those who are willing to pay its price. 11. And now, born from the ashes, she's a warrior in bloody black. 12. Every single girl, whether we want to recognize it or not, is a warrior. 13. It is not enough to win a war. It is more important to organize the peace. 14. A warrior has to believe otherwise. He cannot activate his intent positively. 15. Warriors should suffer their pain silently. 16. To be a warrior is to learn to be genuine in every moment of your life. 17. The more you sweat in training, the less you will bleed in battle. 18. A warrior accepts the challenges of life in true humility. No matter what his destiny may be, can never be a cause for discontent, but a living challenge which it is his privilege to surmount. 19. A warrior lives by acting, not by thinking about acting, nor by thinking about what he will think when he has finished acting. 20. Our greatest glory is not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. 21. A warrior does not give up what he loves, he finds the love in what he does. 22. One by one she slew her fears and then planted a flower garden over their graves. 23. Do not pray for an easy life, pray for the strength to endure a difficult one. 24. The bravest warriors know when to retreat. 25. A warrior seeks to act rather than talk. 26. I'm a warrior when it comes to pursuing roles. 27. A warrior must only take care that his spirit is never broken. 28. A warrior has to believe, for belief is an essential part of his being. 29. We don't rise to the level of our expectations, we fall to the level of our training. Life can sometimes get the best of you, but your state of mind determines your outcome. A person who never made a mistake never tried anything new. No problem can be solved from the same level of consciousness that created it. Imagination is everything. It is the preview of life's coming attractions. Whoever is careless with the truth in small matters cannot be trusted with important matters. Nationalism is an infantile disease. It is the measles of mankind. The true sign of intelligence is not knowledge but imagination. A table, a chair, a bowl of fruit and a violin. What else does a man need to be happy? Everything should be made as simple as possible, but not simpler. Try not to become a man of success, but rather try to become a man of value. Everyone should be respected as an individual, but no one idolized. If you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough. We cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. Only two things are infinite, the universe and human stupidity, and I'm not sure about the former. Reality is merely an illusion, albeit a very persistent one. You can't blame gravity for falling in love. The hardest thing to understand in the world is the income tax. The world is a dangerous place to live, not because of the people who are evil, but because of the people who don't do anything about it. The only reason for time is so that everything doesn't happen at once. Great spirits have always encountered violent opposition from mediocre minds. The important thing is not to stop questioning. Curiosity has its own reason for existing. Once we accept our limits, we go beyond them. A question that sometimes drives me hazy: am I or are the others crazy? Any man who reads too much and uses his own brain too little falls into lazy habits of thinking. Look deep into nature, and then you will understand everything better. Strive not to be a success, but rather to be of value. It's not that I'm so smart, it's just that I stay with problems longer. The only source of knowledge is experience. It is the supreme art of the teacher to awaken joy and creative expression in knowledge. If we knew what it was we were doing, it would not be called research, would it? Education is what remains after one has forgotten what one has learned in school. Only a life lived for others is life worthwhile. The value of a man should be seen in what he gives and not in what he is able to receive. All that is valuable in human society depends upon the opportunity for development accorded the individual. The environment is everything that isn't me. I believe that a simple and unassuming manner of life is best for everyone, best both for the body and the mind. The monotony and solitude of a quiet life stimulates the creative mind. The distinction between the past, present and future is only a stubbornly persistent illusion. Technological progress is like an axe in the hands of a pathological criminal. Without deep reflection, one knows from daily life that one exists for other people. He who can no longer pause to wonder and stand wrapped in awe is as good as dead. His eyes are closed. Coincidence is God's way of remaining anonymous. I have no special talent. I am only passionately curious. Peace cannot be kept by force, it can only be achieved by understanding. Logic will get you from A to B. Imagination will take you everywhere. Intellectuals solve problems, geniuses prevent them. Common sense is the collection of prejudices acquired by age 18. Any man who can drive safely while kissing a pretty girl is simply not giving the kiss the attention it deserves. Pure mathematics is, in its way, the poetry of logical ideas. I live in that solitude which is painful in youth, but delicious in the years of maturity. If people are good only because they fear punishment and hope for reward, then we are a sorry lot indeed. There are two ways to live. You can live as if nothing is a miracle. You can live as if everything is a miracle. If you are out to describe the truth, leave elegance to the tailor. Joy in looking and comprehending is nature's most beautiful gift. The gift of fantasy has meant more to me than my talent for absorbing positive knowledge. No amount of experimentation can ever prove me right. A single experiment can prove me wrong. Never do anything against conscience even if the state demands it. It is a miracle that curiosity survives formal education. You cannot simultaneously prevent and prepare for war. The only real valuable thing is intuition. The only thing that interferes with my learning is my education. A man should look for what is, and not for what he thinks should be. Force always attracts men of low morality. Whoever undertakes to set himself up as a judge of truth and knowledge is shipwrecked by the laughter of the gods. Politics is for the present, but an equation is for eternity. Anger dwells only in the bosom of fools. We still do not know 1,000th of 1% of what nature has revealed to us. Information is not knowledge. That deep emotional conviction of the presence of a superior reasoning power, which is revealed in the incomprehensible universe, forms my idea of God. Before God we are all equally wise, and equally foolish. Gravitation is not responsible for people falling in love. When you are courting a nice girl, an hour seems like a second. When you sit on a red-hot cinder, a second seems like an hour. That's relativity. All religions, arts and sciences are branches of the same tree. I think and think for months and years. 99 times, the conclusion is false. The 100th time I am right. I am not only a pacifist but a militant pacifist. I am willing to fight for peace. Nothing will end war unless the people themselves refuse to go to war. An empty stomach is not a good political advisor. I do not believe that civilization will be wiped out in a war fought with the atomic bomb. Perhaps 2/3 of the people of the earth will be killed. To raise new questions, new possibilities, to regard old problems from a new angle, requires creative imagination and marks real advance in science. When the solution is simple, God is answering. Imagination is more important than knowledge. Anyone who doesn't take truth seriously in small matters cannot be trusted in large ones either. I do not believe in immortality of the individual, and I consider ethics to be an exclusively human concern with no superhuman authority behind it. Heroism on command, senseless violence, and all the loathsome nonsense that goes by the name of patriotism, how passionately I hate them. As far as I'm concerned, I prefer silent vice to ostentatious virtue. It is strange to be known so universally and yet to be so lonely. In matters of truth and justice, there is no difference between large and small problems, for issues concerning the treatment of people are all the same. Put your hand on a hot stove for a minute and it seems like an hour. Sit with a pretty girl for an hour, and it seems like a minute. Memory is deceptive because it is colored by today's events. The whole of science is nothing more than a refinement of everyday thinking. Do not worry about your difficulties in mathematics. I can assure you mine are still greater. The high destiny of the individual is to serve rather than to rule. I want to go when I want. It is tasteless to prolong life artificially. I have done my share, it is time to go. I will do it elegantly. Few are those who see with their own eyes and feel with their own hearts. You can never solve a problem on the level on which it was created. I love to travel, but hate to arrive. The devil has put a penalty on all things we enjoy in life. Either we suffer in health or we suffer in soul or we get fat. I very rarely think in words at all. A thought comes, and I may try to express it in words afterwards. Reading, after a certain age, diverts the mind too much from its creative pursuits. Any man who reads too much and uses his own brain too little falls into lazy habits of thinking. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. To the mind that is still, the whole universe surrenders. Love is of all passions the strongest, for it attacks simultaneously the head, the heart, and the senses. He who conquers others is strong, he who conquers himself is mighty. Silence is a source of great strength. Governing a great nation is like cooking a small fish. Too much handling will spoil it. When the best leader's work is done, the people say, "We did it ourselves." Treat those who are good with goodness, and also treat those who are not good with goodness. Thus goodness is attained. Be honest to those who are honest, and be also honest to those who are not honest. Thus honesty is attained. To see things in the seed, that is genius. From caring comes courage. Fill your bowl to the brim and it will spill. Keep sharpening your knife and it will blunt. The wise man does not lay up his own treasures. The more he gives to others, the more he has for his own. One who is too insistent on his own views finds few to agree with him. Being deeply loved by someone gives you strength, while loving someone deeply gives you courage. A leader is best when people barely know he exists. When his work is done, his aim fulfilled, they will say, "We did it ourselves." Mastering others is strength. Mastering yourself is true power. He who knows does not speak. He who speaks does not know. Knowing others is wisdom, knowing yourself is enlightenment. He who controls others may be powerful, but he who has mastered himself is mightier still. Health is the greatest possession. Contentment is the greatest treasure. Confidence is the greatest friend. Non-being is the greatest joy. By letting it go, it all gets done. The world is won by those who let it go. But when you try and try, the world is beyond the winning. He who does not trust enough will not be trusted. To lead people, walk behind them. The snow goose need not bathe to make itself white. Neither need you do anything but be yourself. Man's enemies are not demons, but human beings like himself. Be the chief but never the lord. A scholar who cherishes the love of comfort is not fit to be deemed a scholar. He who is contented is rich. Do the difficult things while they are easy, and do the great things while they are small. Nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished. When I let go of what I am, I become what I might be. The key to growth is the introduction of higher dimensions of consciousness into our awareness. Nothing is softer or more flexible than water, yet nothing can resist it. Truthful words are not beautiful. Beautiful words are not truthful. Good words are not persuasive. Persuasive words are not good. In dwelling, live close to the ground. In thinking, keep to the simple. In conflict, be fair and generous. In governing, don't try to control. In work, do what you enjoy. In family life, be completely present. Respond intelligently even to unintelligent treatment. Life and death are one thread, the same line viewed from different sides. The Tao that can be told is not the eternal Tao. The name that can be named is not the eternal name. The nameless is the origin of heaven and earth. The named is the mother of all things. Violence, even well-intentioned, always rebounds upon oneself. The softest things in the world overcome the hardest things in the world. When virtue is lost, benevolence appears. When benevolence is lost, right conduct appears. When right conduct is lost, expedience appears. Expediency is the mere shadow of right and truth. It is the beginning of disorder. The wicked leader is he who the people despise. The good leader is he who the people revere. The great leader is he who the people say, "We did it ourselves." The words of truth are always paradoxical. Life is a series of natural and spontaneous changes. Don't resist them, that only creates sorrow. Let reality be reality. Let things flow naturally forward in whatever way they like. If you do not change direction, you may end up where you are heading. When you are content to be simply yourself and don't compare or compete, everybody will respect you. He who knows that enough is enough will always have enough. A good traveler has no fixed plans and is not intent on arriving. Be content with what you have. Rejoice in the way things are. When you realize there is nothing lacking, the whole world belongs to you. Those who have knowledge don't predict. Those who predict don't have knowledge. I have just 3 things to teach: simplicity, patience, compassion. These 3 are your greatest treasures. An ant on the move does more than a dozing ox. Manifest plainness, embrace simplicity, reduce selfishness, have few desires. At the center of your being, you have the answer. You know who you are and you know what you want. If you would take, you must first give. This is the beginning of intelligence. To make a woman sleep with you, give her these 3 things: attention, affection, and appreciation. Great acts are made up of small deeds. Of all that is good, sublimity is supreme. Succeeding is the coming together of all that is beautiful. Furtherance is the agreement of all that is just. Perseverance is the foundation of all actions. Because of a great love, one is courageous. From wonder into wonder existence opens. All difficult things have their origin in that which is easy, and great things in that which is small. Govern a great nation as you would cook a small fish. Do not overdo it. He who talks more is sooner exhausted. If you keep feeling a point that's been sharpened, the point cannot long preserve its sharpness. We cannot despair of humanity, since we ourselves are human beings. Science without religion is lame. Religion without science is blind. Most people say that it is the intellect which makes a great scientist. They are wrong, it is character. Only one who devotes himself to a cause with his whole strength and soul can be a true master. For this reason, mastery demands all of a person. It should be possible to explain the laws of physics to a barmaid. Love is a better teacher than duty. The process of scientific discovery is, in effect, a continual flight from wonder. He who joyfully marches to music in rank and file has already earned my contempt. He has been given a large brain by mistake, since for him the spinal cord would suffice. In order to be an immaculate member of a flock of sheep, one must above all be a sheep oneself. The most beautiful thing we can experience is the mysterious. It is the source of all true art and science. Science is a wonderful thing if one does not have to earn one's living in it. People love chopping wood. In this activity one immediately sees results. The fear of death is the most unjustified of all fears, for there's no risk of accident for someone who's dead. I am a deeply religious non-believer. This is a somewhat new kind of religion. Small is the number of people who see with their eyes and think with their minds. The man of science is a poor philosopher. The faster you go, the shorter you are. If I were not a physicist, I would probably be a musician. I often think in music. I live my daydreams in music. I see my life in terms of music. I want to know all God's thoughts, all the rest are just details. Confusion of goals and perfection of means seems, in my opinion, to characterize our age. I never think of the future, it comes soon enough. God always takes the simplest way. Sometimes one pays most for the things one gets for nothing. I do not believe in the God of theology who rewards good and punishes evil. God does not play dice. I used to go away for weeks in a state of confusion. Most of the fundamental ideas of science are essentially simple, and may, as a rule, be expressed in a language comprehensible to everyone. It was the experience of mystery, even if mixed with fear, that engendered religion. Solitude is painful when one is young, but delightful when one is more mature. Knowledge of what is does not open the door directly to what should be. The road to perdition has ever been accompanied by lip service to an ideal. As far as the laws of mathematics refer to reality, they are not certain, and as far as they are certain, they do not refer to reality. I have just got a new theory of eternity. Too many of us look upon Americans as dollar chasers. This is a cruel libel, even if it is reiterated thoughtlessly by the Americans themselves. Morality is of the highest importance, but for us, not for God. God may be subtle, but he isn't plain mean. To the master's honor all must turn, each in its track, without a sound, forever tracing Newton's ground. I shall never believe that God plays dice with the world. We should take care not to make the intellect our goal. It has, of course, powerful muscles, but no personality. Never lose a holy curiosity. True religion is real living, living with all one's soul, with all one's goodness and righteousness. One may say the eternal mystery of the world is its comprehensibility. You ask me if I keep a notebook to record my great ideas. I've only ever had one. Human beings must have action, and they will make it if they cannot find it. It is only to the individual that a soul is given. All these primary impulses, not easily described in words, are the springs of man's actions. Victorious warriors draw their strength from the highest source, their love. Tapan Ghosh. Every warrior wants a worthy opponent. There is no redress in fighting the pathetic. Donald Lynn Hope. Victorious warriors win first and then go to war, while defeated warriors go to war first and then seek to win. Sun Tzu. A warrior never worries about his fear. Carlos Castaneda. A warrior has to believe, otherwise he cannot activate his intent positively. Tun Mares. Warriors should suffer their pain silently. Aaron Hunter. To be a warrior is to learn to be genuine in every moment of your life. Chugam Trungpa. The more you sweat in training, the less you will bleed in battle. Motto of the Navy SEALs. A warrior accepts the challenges of life in true humility. No matter what his destiny may be, can never be a cause for discontent, but a living challenge which it is his privilege to surmount. Tun Mares. A warrior lives by acting, not by thinking about acting, more by thinking about what he will think he has finished acting. Carlos Castaneda. A warrior does not give up what he loves. He finds the love in what he does. Dan Millman. The greatest warriors know when to retreat. Maureen Joyce Connolly. A warrior seeks to act rather than talk. Carlos Castaneda. I'm a warrior when it comes to pursuing roles. Daniel Day-Lewis.
Death does not concern us, because as long as we exist, death is not here. And when it does come, we no longer exist. It is impossible to live a pleasant life without living wisely and well and justly. And it is impossible to live wisely and well and justly without living a pleasant life. The art of living well and the art of dying well are one. It is better for you to be free of fear lying upon a pallet, than to have a golden couch and a rich table and be full of trouble. If thou wilt make a man happy, add not unto his riches, but take away from his desires. There is no such thing as justice in the abstract. It is merely a compact between men. Both old and young alike ought to seek wisdom, the former in order that, as age comes over him, he may be young in good things because of the grace of what has been, and the latter in order that, while he is young, he may at the same time be old, because he has no fear of the things which are to come. It is not so much our friends' help that helps us, as the confidence of their help. Not what we have but what we enjoy constitutes our abundance. If God listened to the prayers of men, all men would quickly have perished, for they are forever praying for evil against one another. Do not spoil what you have by desiring what you have not. Remember that what you now have was once among the things you only hoped for. Let no one be slow to seek wisdom when he is young, nor weary in the search of it when he has grown old. For no age is too early or too late for the health of the soul. It is possible to provide security against other ills, but as far as death is concerned, we men live in a city without walls. We do not so much need the help of our friends as the confidence of their help in need. Nothing is enough for the man to whom enough is too little. It is folly for a man to pray to the gods for that which he has the power to obtain by himself. The time when most of you should withdraw into yourself is when you are forced to be in a crowd. I never desired to please the rabble. What pleased them, I did not learn, and what I knew was far removed from their understanding. Justice is a kind of compact not to harm or be harmed. The misfortune of the wise is better than the prosperity of the fool. Of all the things which wisdom provides to make us entirely happy, much the greatest is the possession of friendship. We must exercise ourselves in the things which bring happiness, since, if that be present, we have everything, and, if that be absent, all our actions are directed toward attaining it. Misfortune seldom intrudes upon the wise man. His greatest and highest interests are directed by reason throughout the course of life. A free life cannot acquire many possessions, because this is not easy to do without servility to mobs or monarchs. All truth passes through three stages. First, it is ridiculed. Second, it is violently opposed. Third, it is accepted as being self-evident. A man can be himself only so long as he is alone, and if he does not love solitude, he will not love freedom, for it is only when he is alone that he is really free. The doctor sees all the weakness of mankind, the lawyer all the wickedness, the theologian all the stupidity. Money is human happiness in the abstract. He then, who is no longer capable of enjoying human happiness in the concrete, devotes himself utterly to money. The first 40 years of life give us the text. The next 30 supply the commentary on it. Wealth is like seawater. The more we drink, the thirstier we become, and the same is true of fame. Nature shows that with the growth of intelligence comes increased capacity for pain, and it is only with the highest degree of intelligence that suffering reaches its supreme point. Every person takes the limits of their own field of vision for the limits of the world. There is no doubt that life is given us, not to be enjoyed, but to be overcome, to be got over. Wicked thoughts and worthless efforts gradually set their mark on the face, especially the eyes. Friends and acquaintances are the surest passport to fortune. Treat a work of art like a prince. Let it speak to you first. Suffering by nature or chance never seems so painful as suffering inflicted on us by the arbitrary will of another. Reading is equivalent to thinking with someone else's head instead of with one's own. Hatred is an affair of the heart, contempt that of the head. Journalists are like dogs. Whenever anything moves, they begin to bark. Honor means that a man is not exceptional, fame, that he is. Fame is something which must be won, honor, only something which must not be lost. Honor has not to be won, it must only not be lost. If we were not all so interested in ourselves, life would be so uninteresting that none of us would be able to endure it. Talent hits a target no one else can hit. Genius hits a target no one else can see. Just remember, once you're over the hill you begin to pick up speed. Compassion is the basis of morality. Men are by nature merely indifferent to one another, but women are by nature enemies. Every parting gives a foretaste of death, every reunion a hint of the resurrection. After your death you will be what you were before your birth. Satisfaction consists in freedom from pain, which is the positive element of life. Willpower is to the mind like a strong blind man who carries on his shoulders a lame man who can see. The alchemists in their search for gold discovered many other things of greater value. The wise have always said the same things, and fools, who are the majority, have always done just the opposite. We forfeit 3/4 of ourselves in order to be like other people. The discovery of truth is prevented more effectively, not by the false appearance things present and which mislead into error, not directly by weakness of the reasoning powers, but by preconceived opinion, by prejudice. In our monogamous part of the world, to marry means to have one's rights and double one's duties. A man's face as a rule says more and more interesting things than his mouth, for it is a compendium of everything his mouth will ever say, in that it is the monogram of all this man's thoughts and aspirations. To live alone is the fate of all great souls. A man can do what he wants, but not want what he wants. The greatest of follies is to sacrifice health for any other kind of happiness. Great men are like eagles and build their nest on some lofty solitude. Religion is the masterpiece of the art of animal training, for it trains people as to how they shall think. Change alone is eternal, perpetual, immortal. It is a clear gain to sacrifice pleasure in order to avoid pain. The more unintelligent a man is, the less mysterious existence seems to him. The fundament upon which all our knowledge and learning rests is the inexplicable. Sleep is the interest we have to pay on the capital which is called in it death, and the higher the rate of interest, and the more regularly it is paid, the further the date of redemption is postponed. It is only a man's own fundamental thoughts that have truth and life in them. For it is these that he really and completely understands. To read the thoughts of others is like taking the remains of someone else's meal, like putting on the discarded clothes of a stranger. Boredom is just the reverse side of fascination. Both depend on being outside rather than inside a situation, and one leads to the other. The soul that sees beauty may sometimes walk alone. Knowing is not enough, we must apply. Willing is not enough, we must do. Correction does much, but encouragement does more. As soon as you trust yourself, you will know how to live. Love and desire are the spirit's wings to great deeds. What is not started today is never finished tomorrow. Love does not dominate, it cultivates. Wisdom is found only in truth. Nothing shows a man's character more than what he laughs at. Nothing is more terrible than to see ignorance in action. The hardest thing to see is what is in front of your eyes. Divide and rule, the politician cries. Unite and lead is watchword of the wise. To rule is easy, to govern difficult. The best government is that which teaches us to govern ourselves. I call architecture frozen music. I love those who yearn for the impossible. Being brilliant is no great feat if you respect nothing. One can be instructed in society, one is inspired only in solitude. Death is a commingling of eternity with time. In the death of a good man, eternity is seen looking through time. All the knowledge I possess everyone else can acquire, but my heart is all my own. The decline of literature indicates the decline of a nation. The way you see people is the way you treat them, and the way you treat them is what they become. Let everyone sweep in front of his own door, and the whole world will be clean. Magic is believing in yourself. If you can do that, you can make anything happen. There is nothing insignificant in the world. It all depends on the point of view. All theory, dear friend, is gray, but the golden tree of life springs ever green. Few people have the imagination for reality. A man's manners are a mirror in which he shows his portrait. Plunge boldly into the thick of life, and seize it where you will. It is always interesting. All intelligent thoughts have already been thought. What is necessary is only to try to think them again. The coward only threatens when he is safe. He only earns his freedom and his life who takes them every day by storm. Whoever wishes to keep a secret must hide the fact that he possesses one. He who possesses art and science has religion. He who does not possess them needs religion. None are more hopelessly enslaved than those who falsely believe they are free. Behavior is the mirror in which everyone shows their image. Everything in the world may be endured except continual prosperity. Nothing is worth more than this day. To witness two lovers is a spectacle for the gods. Thinking is easy, acting is difficult, and to put one's thoughts into action is the most difficult thing in the world. The man with insight enough to admit his limitations comes nearest to perfection. Life belongs to the living, and he who lives must be prepared for changes. If God had wanted me otherwise, He would have created me otherwise. Letters are among the most significant memorial a person can leave behind them. A person hears only what they understand. In nature we never see anything isolated, but everything in connection with something else which is before it, beside it, under it, and over it. There are only two lasting bequests we can hope to give our children. One of these is roots, the other, wings. Dream no small dreams, for they have no power to move the hearts of men. He only earns his freedom and his life who takes them every day by storm. Whoever wishes to keep a secret must hide the fact that he possesses one. He who possesses art and science has religion. He who does not possess them needs religion. None are more hopelessly enslaved than those who falsely believe they are free. Behavior is the mirror in which everyone shows their image. Everything in the world may be endured except continual prosperity. Nothing is worth more than this day. To witness two lovers is a spectacle for the gods. Thinking is easy, acting is difficult, and to put one's thoughts into action is the most difficult thing in the world. The man with insight enough to admit his limitations comes nearest to perfection. Life belongs to the living, and he who lives must be prepared for changes. If God had wanted me otherwise, he would have created me otherwise. Letters are among the most significant memorial a person can leave behind them. A person hears only what they understand. In nature we never see anything isolated, but everything in connection with something else which is before it, beside it, under it, and over it. There are only two lasting bequests we can hope to give our children. One of these is roots, the other, wings. Dream no small dreams, for they have no power to move the hearts of men.